And hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Elan. So, for today's presentation topic will be sustainable facilities for sustainable shopping and how CMMS can help. In case there's anyone out there unsure what CMMS is, it basically stands for Computerized Maintenance Management System. It's a software that helps with your daily maintenance operations. So for today, I'll be discussing on a few key areas. We'll first look into the traditional versus modern approach for shopping mall maintenance. And next will be the benefits of digitalizing mall maintenance. Then we'll discuss how ServTech can help with your maintenance operations and also the value ServTech can add to your operations. So before I start, let me just give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Ilan Utama, and I'm the head of customer success at ServTech. In case some of y'all don't know what customer success is, the purpose of my department within the company is to help our clients find success using our solutions and to help our clients achieve their operational goals using our products. So the fact that ServTech as a company and as an organization has established this department shows you our commitment towards building great client relationship and delivering excellent after-sales service. So we are not just about bringing in clients, we also want them to succeed. A bit about myself, I've been in various software industries throughout my career, healthcare, retail, HR, to name a few. But what I'm really passionate about is helping companies digitize their business operations in many aspects. Enough about me. Today, as mentioned, we are going to talk about how CMMS can help create sustainable facilities for sustainable shopping. Before we go into that, let's first understand what makes a shopping mall successful. A shopping mall is ultimately a business, and everyone who runs a business wants to be successful. And usually success for shopping malls would mean higher occupancy rates. It's popular, an attraction for out-of-state visitors, and a place where people just want to be seen at. And these are the key points to consider for a shopping mall to be successful. Number one, the ambience and atmosphere. You want malls to be clean and to have good lighting. You might also want to consider some pleasant background music and possibly a nice overall smell or scent for the mall. And you definitely want a variety of stores and products that that gives your shoppers options. So that's important. And amenities and services, you could offer a range of amenities and services such as Wi-Fi, free charging stations. I mean, everyone's got a phone these days, and it would be great if you could have charging stations, stroller rentals, wheelchairs, package deliveries, or maybe a play area for kids to keep their families entertained. Customer service, of course, is important. And also you want to have some good events and promotions. I've seen some really interesting events in malls lately. There are TV shows or movies related, and also some video games and sports related events can draw a really good crowd. And of course, you want good food and beverage options. I mean, there are many times where we all just go to the mall just to have our favorite food and meal, and somehow when you go there and eat, you end up walking around and you end up spending money shopping. So that's a good thing for shopping malls. And also security and safety. You want to make sure your patrons feel safe, whether it's in the mall, in the parking lot, just that sense of security. Now, all of these are fundamental elements or aspects to a successful shopping mall. But one key element that is the most crucial of all would be the key to actually, having a sustainable shopping mall. So let's ask my Abang stock image what it is. And yes, it is maintenance. So yes, thank you, Abang stock. Maintenance is the most crucial part of making a mall successful. You can have all the best facilities in the world, but it means nothing with poor maintenance. So if you have like first-class facilities only to be ruined, in a couple of years, that's not something that you want for your mall. So having poor maintenance, of course, will have adverse effects on your shopping mall. So imagine going to a mall and a few escalators are not working and it's constantly and the lift is constantly out of service. The toilets are dirty, no toilet paper, hand dryer is not working, and this is not an occasional occurrence. This is more of a daily issue. So surely there'll be adverse effects. You'll see less people visiting the mall, and also all of this would contribute to negative customer experience. And this can also cause safety hazards such as slippery floor. Sometimes it could be a leak causing floor to be wet, electrical issues, fire hazards, can be dangerous to our customers. And when you put your customers in danger, it could lead to legal liability. Of course, poor mall maintenance will lead to increased costs as well, because you are not maintaining your facilities. You are simply fixing and replacing your assets, which will cost more in the long run. All of this negative image will cause people to lose interest in your mall and would ultimately reduce the value in your property. So now that we know that the maintenance of your facilities is crucial to your business as a mall, which is why today we are going to look into how we can optimize your maintenance operations. And in order for us to do that, let's just understand the traditional versus the modern approach of mall maintenance. Let's start with the traditional approach. So before development of CMMS, the day-to-day activities, facilities maintenance was tracked using very common manual methods. For example, like pen and paper, where maintenance requests and work orders were recorded manually using paper forms or paper checklists. And some facilities managers use spreadsheets as well to track maintenance schedules, like work orders and equipment inventory, basically through Excel sheets or Google Sheets. This is something very common. And calendar reminders. So maintenance schedules were sometimes tracked using calendar reminders. You have walkthrough inspections. You have facilities managers will usually do regular walkthrough inspections to identify maintenance issues and assign work orders manually. And all of these are all very reactive. So in the past, many facilities managers were very reactive in their approach for maintenance, and meaning they will only address maintenance issues as it comes, rather than proactively scheduling maintenance tasks. And there's of course verbal communication. So where you just communicate work orders verbally, and the facilities managers would just ask technician to go and fix something. And more recently, we have WhatsApp, which where they communicate within the group WhatsApp chat to get work done. And I'll explain later why this is not a good approach. So basically, these manual approach are usually time consuming and most crucially prone to errors, because they rely heavily on human input and interpretation. Now let's discuss the modern approach to mall maintenance. And the modern approach can heavily be linked to digitalization in business operations. And digitalization is a fundamental aspect in helping an organization succeed. So I'm just going to briefly go through the modern approach of each aspect of mall maintenance. So, first we've got maintenance tracking. So the most crucial aspect of facilities maintenance and is basically maintenance tracking. And these days it is done through a CMMS system, because it can help you track maintenance tasks and schedules, work orders, and also manage your equipment and inventory. It can also give you historical data of your assets and facilities, and ultimately it's going to save you from a lot of manual work. Preventive maintenance. We know in the past that maintenance took a more reactive approach, but the modern day approach is to proactively have scheduled maintenance to prevent equipment from breaking down and also to minimize downtime. This includes regular inspections and servicing, and all of this can be scheduled using a CMMS tool. And when it comes to energy saving, the modern approach is to adopt the use of sensors. So for example, the chillers in your air conditioning system. So you can install sensors such as temperature sensors, and this will help eliminate the need for sending technician to constantly monitor your temperature spikes. And the sensors can also send a notification directly to the technician to whenever there's an anomaly. All right, and for budgeting, an advanced CMMS can help with the tracking of expenses, and it can identify areas of cost saving. And when it comes to communication, we've seen earlier with the traditional approach where communication was done verbally or even through media applications like WhatsApp. The problem with all of this is that the communications are not tracked and not consolidated. They're all over the place. And with CMMS, all communications are consolidated and tracked under one platform, which allows the management to easily review and audit the maintenance trail. And last but not least is data analysis. Now, the traditional approach, right, simply lacks data because of the lack of tracking. In the end of the day, what you don't track, you cannot improve. So one of the fundamental aspects of adopting a CMS tool is that it gives you access to data to help you analyze your areas of maintenance that you can improve on. And these improvements are what's going to help you achieve your end goal, which is sustainability, efficiency, and cost saving. So overall, the modern approach to mall maintenance is more focused on proactive, data-driven maintenance management. And all of this, which can be easily achieved using a competent CMMS tool. And let's just do an overall comparative summary. As you can see, it's quite clear that the modern approach is more effective and efficient in many aspects. The modern mall management adopts a more proactive approach to maintenance as opposed to reactive. It also promotes data-driven decisions. It also means that decisions can be made more relevant to what is needed and more precisely. And the proactive nature of the modern approach will also improve your asset lifespan, which leads to cost saving. And ultimately, as I have presented earlier, with proper facilities management, it leads to better customer experience. And this is fundamental for a mall to be successful. And now that we know that most of the modern approach to maintenance can be done through CMMS, it's important to know what to consider before committing to such a system. So here we've got some things malls can consider before getting CMMS. So first, you can consider the size of your mall. The size of the mall affects the complexity of the maintenance system required. A large mall will likely require a more sophisticated CMMS tool than for a smaller mall. So for example, you have more areas to cover and your team will be bigger and there'll be more departments. You have to question whether can your CMMS support a mall of your size. So this needs to be heavily considered. Then we need to consider the types of facilities in the mall. Different facilities within the mall may require different types of maintenance. It's important to choose a CMMS that can accommodate different types of equipment and maintenance needs. So for example, we can just take an ice skating ring. Not many malls have ice skating ring. So if let's say you do have an ice skating ring and your CMS only has very limited checklists for you to do your maintenance, then that would not be the right CMMS tool for you. You want something that is customizable so that you can customize regular maintenance checklists for your ice skating ring. So that is something that you might want to consider, which is your facilities within your mall and how that CMMS tool can actually support it. And budget, of course, that goes without saying, budget is important. So it's important to evaluate how much you are willing to invest on a CMMS and the value it can bring to your operations. Of course, you also want to make sure that the system you sign up for is user-friendly and ensure that it has good customer support and training. You don't want the relationship to just end upon your sign up or your purchase, and then there's no support or training after that. So this is actually fundamental. And for integration, if you have existing systems that you like to have integrated with, it's important for your CMS provider to be integration ready. And last but not least, please always make sure that your CMS provider has top-tier reporting functions, because this will ultimately allow you to evaluate on the work done and help with your analysis to make better decisions for the future. So yeah, those are the things you can consider before getting a CMMS. Actually, you don't have to look very far for a good CMMS, because today you're already interacting with SurfDeck and we have all the features that can help with your mall maintenance. So yes, how SurfDeck can help digitalize your shopping mall maintenance. As I've said previously, I'm passionate about helping organizations digitalize their operations. And I'm glad that SurfDeck also shares that passion. So today, I'm just going to share how SurfDeck can help digitalize your operations. Before that, let me just give a brief introduction of SurfDeck for those who might not have heard of us. SurfDeck is a software company that provides solutions for facilities maintenance, and our goal is to help digitalize the FM industry. We are also a subscription and cloud-based solution, and our system basically helps our clients with the tracking of work order, communication, asset management, and also helps them to do analysis based on our comprehensive reports. We are available on web and mobile. So I just want to let everyone know that we are available on web and mobile. And for mobile, we are available on the App Store, the Google Play Store, and also the Huawei App Gallery. So of course, it's crucial in this day and age that you have mobile versions of your solutions, because everyone has one these days, and it's convenient, and it allows your facilities team to actually move around and go about their operations easily using the app. So SurfDeck in general, we have a wide range of features within our system, but today I'll just highlight a few key areas that SurfDeck solution can help digitalize in a shopping mall. And the key areas are general maintenance, preventive maintenance, customer service, tenant management, and IoT. So let's start with general maintenance. So there are three aspects of general maintenance I just want to go through. So first is the issue and resolution. This means the process from the time the issue or problem arises until it is resolved. And second, it is the monitoring and tracking. This basically represents a time frame in between work being done and also after maintenance is done. So once you have actually reported an issue, you want to track it. You want to know, is this being done? Has this been completed? What's the status of it? So this is one of the aspect, and also reports analysis, after all the work has been done. And don't worry, SurfDeck has got you covered in each aspect of the general maintenance. All right, so number one, when it comes to general maintenance, the first part is the issue and resolution. So I want to relate this to basically your corrective maintenance. So I want everyone to understand today, obviously there's two parts to maintenance. There's the corrective and there's also the preventive. So corrective basically indicates the more ad hoc version of issues that pop up every now and then. So every now and then, sometimes your mall, you might have leaks here and there, might crack on the wall, lighting might be a problem. This is where your corrective maintenance and general maintenance will take place. Okay, so with SurfDeck, you can actually capture the image of the issue, and you can give very detailed descriptions of your issue. So for example, you can actually tell like which asset is in question that is the problem, which area, which category, and most importantly is which department. So for example, in a whole organization, you might have housekeeping department, you might have engineering facilities. You don't want all of them to receive an issue that is related to engineering, or if let's say it's an engineering issue. So if it's an engineering issue, basically the issue will only go to the engineering department. So that is one of our key features here, is that our reporting issue is relevant to the department. So if we can capture the image, we've got detailed description, and also we have effective communication. So when I talk about effective communication, I'm talking about inside each work order, we have a comments function. So we can actually put in update and comment about that a certain work order or certain issue, and all the communication in there will be tracked in the issue itself. So you won't lose track of it, and it's all consolidated. And on top of that, all of it can be shown under a simple view. So you can see on our mobile app that we have a very simple view, and you can see all the list of issues that your department has, whether it is open, in progress, or overdue. This is where you can actually see all your issues. And also after you have logged an issue, you want to complete it. So when your technician completes it, that they can also give a very detailed description of the resolution. So let's take, for example, like an aircon or something that is not functioning. Then you can put like, when you resolve it, you can say like added aircon gas or something like that. That's a resolution. And also we have an acceptance feature. Basically, it's just for the supervisors to do some check and balance, to review the work and just see whether the work is done, and then they can accept it. So this is the first part of general maintenance or corrective maintenance, which is your issue and resolution. The next part is monitoring and tracking. So now I just want to let everyone know that we have real-time monitoring dashboard, and also basically tracks and monitors all the activities and performance. So the management team can actually just spend a few minutes to just have an overview of the team productivity. So even if you have like multiple sites, like say 10 sites, you can actually view all the productivity on the dashboard. And you can see whether the team has any overdue issues or missed preventive maintenance. And the dashboard also breaks down the productivity of each department, each categories, and even areas. So you can actually see like, okay, for today, for this department, how many issues are there? For this category, how many issues are there? In this area, let's say level 1, how many issues are there today? So that's a good part of this tracking and monitoring system. And also you can see like what time an issue has been created. You can see the timestamp, what time it has been created, and it's outstanding. So if let's say, it's a major issue, something that should be resolved quickly, and you as a manager, you're looking at it, you see it's still not resolved, you can basically, reach out to your teammate and say, hey, why is this not resolved? And they can go and do it quickly. So that's important. And also it allows remote monitoring. So even on your day off or anything, you want to do some monitoring on your team, you can actually do that. And what's great about this is that in the end of the day, it eliminates uncertainty. So like, for example, if, sometimes you might have a technician who says, I did something, but, but it's actually not done, that will all go away, because if it's actually done, they will actually have to take a picture to show that a work is done, and you can actually see it on the system. So in terms of uncertainty, that is eliminated. Okay, so basically, like I mentioned, for a report, whatever you track, you also want an opportunity to improve yourself. So with the reports, you can actually do that. All of your data that has been tracked, you can look at the report and you can see the frequency of the issues, the department's performance. So like, for example, if let's say you've got the housekeeping, engineering, and facilities department, and most of the issues only occur on the facility side, maybe they are understaffed, whereas the housekeeping and engineering side, they do not have as many issues and they have a lot more staff to spare. So then now you can actually make a decision on how you want to reallocate your resources and make them work more efficiently. So that is one of the usage that you can use for based on the reporting functions. And also you have SLA monitoring. So for example, like for a particular issue or task, you might want it to complete within a certain time. So if it exceeds that time, you want to know that this issue has exceeded its time. So you can actually monitor how often a work order goes overdue. And as I mentioned, also we have, you can make data-driven decisions and improvements for the future, which ultimately leads to a reduction in costs. Yes, and the next part is preventive maintenance. So I've discussed earlier just now, there was a general maintenance, which usually correlates to corrective maintenance. So preventive maintenance, it's basically scheduling tasks for servicing for mainly your assets. So you can look at your elevators, your escalators, and your chillers. If you don't check it on time, it could affect your costs. So with SurfDeck, basically we can actually automatically schedule your maintenance tasks. So if your maintenance tasks are actually bi-weekly, bi-monthly, or half yearly, you can schedule all of that. And the good thing about it is that the notification of the scheduled task, it appears on the SurfDeck app. So basically you won't miss any more maintenance. And the thing is, if let's say you, as I mentioned, if you miss some of this scheduled maintenance, this could sometimes affect the performance of the equipment of the asset, and it could break down and it would lead to more costs. So what you want to do is you want to really schedule your maintenance on time, and SurfDeck can help you with that. And on top of that, our checklist and inspection lists are all highly customizable. So for different assets or different facilities, you can have different checklists for the maintenance. I gave you an example just now of an ice skating rink. So if your mall does have an ice skating rink and it requires the regular servicing or maintenance, SurfDeck can help with that because our checklists are highly customizable. So when you can customize it, you can also customize it particularly for your ice skating rink to have a checklist for it. And on top of that, we also have asset tagging, which is QR code tagging. So you can actually tag each of your asset with a QR code. And when you scan that QR code, you can also see the asset history. You can see how often it has been maintained, how often there was work performed on it, how often it has broke down. So you can actually do an analysis on that particular brand, perhaps of your asset. Maybe if it breaks down too regularly, you might want to look into something else. So that's a good thing, again, that helps you make data-driven decisions. So similar as I previously with the general maintenance, we also have monitoring and tracking, and also a reports and analysis function. The next area that SurfDeck can help shopping malls would be the customer service areas. So we have something called an area QR code. So what you can do with this area QR code is that you can place this QR code at strategic points of the malls, where you would allow your patrons to actually scan the QR code. And when they scan the QR code, they can log an issue, and that issue will actually come to you, and then you can work on it immediately. So what is important about this is that you get a quicker response time. So for example, there are some malls that use this for their toilets. So if the toilets are dirty and it's running out of toilet paper, someone can actually scan and they can actually say like, hey, your this toilet in level in a particular level has run out of toilet paper or something like that. And then you have a quick response time. You come to your housekeeping team, and then they will have to go and rectify this. So you are constantly updating and facilitating your clients with your customers actually with a platform to actually report their complaints. And what's good about this is it also updates the reporter. So once this is done, once the work is completed, they have, like for example, refilled the toilet paper or whatnot, they can send an email to the reporter saying that this has been complete. So this actually improves your client, your visitor engagement, and also creates a better image for your mall. And also we have tenant management. We have a tenant portal that you can have a full view of your tenants, and it can help with your ins and outs of your tenants. You can help manage your tenant application forms. So for example, your tenant, they might want to apply for early opening. Sometimes they want to apply for late closing, or maybe a car park booking, facilities booking, anything. So we have customizable application forms that you can customize for them to actually send an application to you to apply for all these things that regularly occur. So this is something that will ease your operations. And also in terms of receiving feedback, there's a receive feedback feature for the tenant portal. So they can actually give you feedback on what they think of your service is to them. And also you can make announcement to all your tenants in the mall with the tenant management. And last but not least is the IoT integration. What's IoT? It's basically the Internet of Things. So it's basically a software hardware that helps to monitor your assets or system performance in layman's term. So for example, you have chillers for your air conditioning system in your shopping mall. And in order for you to have it run efficiently, you can install sensors as temperature sensors or power meters. So if there is an unusual spike in temperature, or if there's a sudden surge in energy consumption, it can be tracked to the specific time and date. So if you currently have sensors like that installed in your chillers, or if you plan to have sensors installed in the future, for example, we can work on an integration with your sensors, whereby your sensors will push data to ServDeck whenever there is, say, a sudden temperature spike. Then this will create a work order and will go to your technicians to go and inspect the situation. So this prompt action can ultimately save costs, because if you leave if the chiller is in abnormal high temperature for a long time, it's going to cost money, and also it will be less, it'll produce more carbon emissions, so it's not so beneficial for the mall. And yeah, so these are the benefits of IoT integration with ServDeck. And basically you can get real-time monitoring, and any anomaly can trigger a work order with ServDeck. And this will give you quicker response time, which can be both energy and cost saving, and ultimately reduce your carbon emission.
And we have come to the end of our session today. If you're interested in the solutions I've discussed just now, or if you like what you heard, please feel free to reach out to us.